Hello, everybody. Jon Snedeker here with Notary Signing Agent Blueprint. Welcome to another episode of Signing Agent Secrets. Today we have the amazing Oscar Paz. Oscar is with Polk County Closers LLC out in Davenport, Florida, not too far from me. Oscar has been a signing agent for about a couple months now and is just getting started. Oscar, thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Oh, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your story, Oscar. Before loan signings, what were you doing before you found out that this was even an option for you as a career?
Well, basically, I was a teacher for 2 years, and then I actually became a substitute because of the state testing and the things that were going on that I couldn't pass. So, excuse me. So basically, I've been subbing ever since, and I was basically online just to look for any type of licensing that I can get that's not too difficult to get. And I basically ran into your program,
Okay,
so that's
gotcha.
how.
So you were a teacher and you wanted to, what I hear a lot from people that are in more of the substitute role is, they want something more stable, right? And they want to be able to not only continue to help people, but also get a little bit more of the stability of income. That's what I hear a lot from some of the teachers. But you were looking for something different, right? And so you came across loan signings online. Was there any particular like aha moment that where it finally sort of clicked for you and you were like, you know what, like loan signings is what I want to do? Was there any particular moment that sort of led you to loan signings that you remember?
Well, in terms of the aha moment, in seeing like some of the videos that I was seeing, because most of the stuff that I saw was on YouTube. So I was
Okay,
just seeing,
a lot of free
different people.
resources.
Right. There was a lot of different resources in terms of, loan signings, notary signing agents, stuff like that, other people that were, also having, these type of programs. And
Gotcha.
so to me, what stuck out in terms of the aha moment was seeing your videos because, you seem to be very authentic in terms of what you are trying to say, and and it shows like you're trying to help people. So
Well, we
that's something that
appreciate
I was
that.
like, yeah. So I basically saw that and I was like, aha, like this is something I could do. And some of the things that you were saying, in those videos were like, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, great.
So
I think you hit the, and we appreciate the kind words for sure. You said it's something that you can do. A lot of people think of the loan signing, it's very niche. It's very niche, right? You're a notary, but you're really, yes, you're a notary, but you're really a loan, notary signing agent, loan signing agent. And, the aha moment that you had was like, hey, I could do this, right? And so a lot of
correct.
people sort of transition into this job from uh, restructuring with their company, or maybe they lost a job, but when it finally clicks is usually what I'm looking for. You said it's something I can do. I mean, it's paperwork. It's not rocket science, right? And so it's like, hey, this is starts to
Correct.
the more videos you watch, the more information you gather. There's a lot of so there's some really good free resources on YouTube. But you said, you know what, I could actually do this, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah,
yeah,
and
go
more
ahead.
importantly, I'm sorry to cut you off,
No,
but
no,
more
go ahead, go
importantly, like
ahead.
yeah. So basically, like I saw that with you, like I said, you're very authentic. It's not like, some of the spiel that you hear online from some other people, and there were people there, but they seem like they weren't authentic. And that was something that turned me off. And then in terms of this, it's like, yeah, this definitely makes a lot of sense in terms of, I could definitely do this and I can help people at the same time.
Yeah, that's a big part of the job.
So,
People, you get what you give, and I like to say that you serve yourself through serving others. You don't just serve yourself by serving yourself, or you can't get very far with it. But you can get very far with serving others by and then eventually serving yourself by serving them specifically. And
yeah.
that's fantastic. And thank you very much. We do get obviously compliments. I run the program because I do want to help people. Otherwise, I wouldn't have created it. I wouldn't have pulled back the curtains on my entire business if I didn't want to. But at the end of the day, Oscar, no one needs to struggle in this business to get started. They just need to link up with someone that's really got it figured out. And there's a lot of great free resources, but obviously the good stuff is not going to be the good stuff is never free in life,
Right.
right? And so now talk a little bit right now about your schedule, Oscar. So you're obviously looking to transition. You're still doing teaching now, right? So
Yes.
can we talk about your schedule a little bit? You know, I speak to notaries across the country, and everyone has a different schedule, but what does your schedule maybe look like on a weekly basis? And then maybe we could talk about how we can integrate some of the signings for you depending on days of the week or hours. Maybe just talk to me a little bit about that so we can sort of look at maybe what a best case scenario looks like for your schedule. Because when I started, it was part-time too, and it was hard to piece it together. But so let's talk about that with you with your schedule on a weekly basis, if you don't mind.
Yeah, my schedule is basically set on like the school schedule,
Okay.
because since I work at a middle school, what tends to happen is they start classes like around 9 and then they end around 5. So it's basically like a 9 to 5 type of schedule.
Okay, great.
So so I would like my goal is to start doing signings like in the evening until I can transition to do it full time.
Okay,
So if I could
gotcha.
do 1 to 2 signings uh, at night or in the evening, that would be great. That would be the goal to do that.
And so do you get your weekly schedule maybe a week in advance, or is it, I mean, is it 5 days a week, 9 to 5, or is it 4 days a
Yeah,
week?
it's 5 days a week,
Okay, I mean,
and
everybody's
then
different. So you know it's basically 5 days a week, 9 to 5. And so, just
correct.
just to cut to the chase, like you got there's title companies out there that specifically, and I mean specifically, put orders out for 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, you gotta I can help you with that, but they are out there. And generally, when they do the 8 a.m. start times, there's a lot of companies that won't start before 9 a.m. because they need to sort of provide that support. And so we can target title companies that have 8 o'clock start times. What you can do, Oscar, is sneak in at maybe 7:50 for the closing, and that way you can do a 20-minute closing, 30-minute closing, and then still be, on time for work kind of thing. So you can maybe sneak one in before, possibly, targeting those
Yeah,
8 a.m. title companies. And then after hours, you got to be all over it. I mean, when I started, it was very similar. I worked like a 9 to 5:30. Anything that was like a 6 o'clock to 8:30 start time, I was all over, man. I was all over it. I made sure that I did one signing a day after work. And then once I got that consistency, Oscar, that's when it allowed me to pivot. Once I knew I can keep getting those orders, then I'd be able to free up another 8 to 10 hours a day for more closings. It was like, that was like my aha moment. Like, not only am I going to make more, which is great, be flexible, but I'm going to be able to do what I want to do for a living. And the only way I was able to do that and pivot from part time to full time was that consistency after hours. That is everything. The more orders you can get, the more that you can pull. You don't need to do 2 or 3 after work. I mean, you can, but you only need like one a day to get that consistency. And that allows you to pivot in a way where you'll free up another 10, 12 hours a day with whatever commute you have. But that consistency of orders was the number one thing that told me how to make it happen, and make the pivot and sort of give me that confidence that I needed. So for you, target 8 a.m. title companies, anything, 6 to whatever hours you want to work. Oscar, the latest signing I've ever did was 10:30 at night, and it actually was like an hour away. So it was, this business is very, very busy when you know what you're doing, and that'll allow you to sort of pick your schedule for what orders you want to do. And it really just depends on how bad you want it to be full time. And if you want to be full time faster, you need to just work faster to reach those goals and make sure you're getting those consistent orders sent to you. It'll make your life easier the more that you have. So that's awesome. So it's really great you get your schedule in advance. Now, do you have any particular income goals at all, or maybe not so much yet because you're just getting started? What does that sort of look like for you, if anything?
well, in terms of income goals, my my biggest thing is to get as much business as I can in order for me to get comfortable with the process in terms of the loan signing. And
Okay.
then from there, then I can see in terms of what I need to reach in terms of like how much I can charge in terms of maximum, what's a good rate to get more business. Because for
Sure.
me, it's all about like, just getting the business and having a consistent flow of business, not necessarily like the maximum. I don't need to have the maximum amount
Right. You can
as
do
long
that
as it's
later. You want the
consistent.
consistency, right?
It's consistency
Absolutely.
for now. Yeah,
And that's
that's like
going to
the
help you
biggest
reach
thing.
your goal. Like, making a certain max amount per order is not necessarily going to get you full time any quicker. Many orders will get you there quicker than, say, one high paying order kind of thing.
Correct.
And so that's really good that you realize that you're looking for a price point that sort of keeps you busy essentially. And
Yeah,
that's
it
the
keeps
important part
me
to get you started.
busy. Yeah, it keeps me a competitive,
Yeah.
busy. That's basically what I'm looking for.
Awesome. So you're just getting started, you're learning the ropes, you're a notary, you're a signing agent. Do you think anyone can sort of do this job to sign paperwork with people, or do you think there's, requirements that are needed before people get started with any sort of personal characteristics? Can anyone do it, or do you think it's only reserved for certain people to do this job?
I think it's for people who want to help other people. It's not the type of job where it's like, oh my God, I want to make money. I want to do this. It's not for people who just want to get rich quick and, who want to make money. No, this job is basically, or this career and this business is for people who want to help other people. Because in terms of the money, it's gonna be there
Sure.
because you're serving people and you're helping people, and even other notaries, like, hey, I'll tell them what I know, just because we're all here to help each other out. Everybody is basically looking towards the same goal and the same things in terms of having that flexibility, having that time with their families, having the life that they want to have. And why not help somebody else? Because that's the point of it. I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose, if you will, if you're just in it for yourself. Like,
Right.
I look to help other people. I mean, that's the biggest thing. So if
Yeah.
I can share my knowledge to somebody who's starting out, then yeah, definitely would.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'll say it again. You serve yourself through serving others. You don't serve yourself by just serving yourself. It just never works out that way. And so that's fantastic. Helping people, it's everything in this business. There's going to be some good days. There'll be some tough days, some shiny days, some rainy days, and the more passionate you are about helping people will sort of carry you through those ebbs and flows, the highs and the lows, essentially. And so the more passionate you are, the more you'll sort of want to get after it, and that's awesome. So Oscar, let's talk about maybe painting a picture here of maybe what success looks like to you with loan signings. You've already talked about that you want to pivot to full time when you can. What are other things that'll maybe make you feel successful? I talk to a lot of people, and some people want to feel a certain way, or some people want a certain amount of income, or some people want a certain number of hours. But like, what does success look like to you? Because it genuinely is different for everybody, I think.
For me, success is all about just being able to be flexible in terms of your schedule, having time for the family, being able to do with like what you want in terms of like your time, and with a job, especially, like a dead end job that you hate or whatever, it's like you're never gonna have that. But in this business, it's like you make it how you want to make it. I mean, you can make it whatever you want. And
Big
that's the
time.
fantastic thing about it, because you could, there's people out there that, enjoy to work all the time and have 5, 6 closings, and, that's what makes them happy, because they're constantly working, whatever. And then there's people
Sure.
that do 3 closings, 2 closings, and they're perfectly happy with that too. And having time to do the things that they would like to do during the day, you
Right.
know? So for me, it's all about the flexibility of, you know, being able to spend my time to do the things that I love. At the same time, I'm helping people when I do help them, you know, based on what I want to do in terms of how to help people. So
Absolutely.
this, yeah.
That's great.
So
You know, people have families. Some people have kids. Some people don't have kids. Some people care for their kids, care for their parents. This is a unique job, Oscar, that flexibility allows them to carve out their lifestyle, right? And where they choose to spend their time. They're not shackled at corporate in the 9 to 6
right.
working. You know, not everyone works 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day is like rare. You talk about people working 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. I got two of my best buddies are accountants that have been working till 1, 2 in the morning for, you know, quarter end kind of thing. And so every job's a little bit different with the time requirements, but any sort of 1099 job, which allows you to sort of pick your own schedule, now you're talking. Now you can fit in work when you want to work and not when you don't. And that's one of the huge benefits of you know, being an independent contractor, not just being a signing agent, but any independent contractor, carving out your work schedule around your life schedule. And that's really fantastic. And for you, it allows you to obviously spend the time that you want to spend with your family, and do things that sort of light you up instead of just do things that you essentially don't want to do. And so the signing agent opportunity is unique because anybody can go and get a, you know, a 10 or $12 an hour job, and trust me, they'll love you forever because they'll want to keep you forever at, you know, 10, 12 bucks an hour. You want to do something where you can not only help people still, but make more money in a short amount of time. You can go make $100 in a half hour. You can go make 150 in an hour or 45 minutes. You can go make 75 an hour. And it allows you to make more in a short amount of time. And that's going to give you, you know, a couple extra hours in your day as opposed to needing to work that at, you know, 10, 12 bucks an hour kind of thing. So that flexibility is very important. I think it's a big draw to any entrepreneur or anyone that wants to do closings, because they get to just simply pick their schedule, which is awesome. Do you have any particular advice for people on the fence getting started, Oscar? You're getting started yourself. Were you nervous at all at any point or fearful? There's a lot of people that are sort of sitting on the fence a little bit. They're a little bit scared, a little bit nervous. Maybe it's a new industry for them. Do you maybe have any advice at all since you sort of just went through that transition yourself with getting started?
The only thing that I can say in terms of advice is, you know, just do it. It's, I know it sounds corny. I know it
Nike
sounds so
Nike
cliche.
motto, right?
The whole Nike thing. You
Yeah.
know, just
Shout out to
do it.
Nike, right?
Yeah, shout out to Nike.
We'll plug their stuff. I got some Nike stuff here.
But I mean, you know, again, I don't mean to sound so cliche, but hey, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is nothing will happen. So, you know, do it. Take the risk, take the chance. It's better than not doing anything. It's
What are
better
you
than
risk? You're
sitting on the
risking
sidelines.
you're risking taking a chance at doing something better for your future. You know, it's not doing things better for yourself is a reward. Not, you know, it should be looked at as a reward anyway, not so much risk. I mean, like you said, things always seem scarier than they actually are. You know, when you think about it too much or when you overanalyze, there's a lot of people that are nervous, fearful, scared. They're scared of failure, Oscar. They're scared of success. They're scared of what other people think. There are very real fears that everybody has. The
Right.
reality is that fear is, there's so many ways to chalk it up, but the more you think about it, it just blows up. It gets bigger. It magnifies. But when you actually do it, you realize how small of a fear it truly is. It's non-existent, and so you can never overcome that fear by thinking. You overcome it by doing. And so just do it is a perfect example. I like to say jump. So sometimes you're going to have to jump in life,
Right.
and in order to reach
Leap of faith.
the life of your dreams, in order to make great money, it takes a little bit of sacrifice. It takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of money because obviously you're making, you know, 75. I say 75 to 175. You know, the most I've made in one closing was 250. You can make really great money in this business, but you're going to have to sacrifice some of the things like time and like money. You can't just start this phenomenal business with like $100 in your pocket. You need a little bit of money to get some supplies so you can add value to people with being able to print
Right.
documents, with being able to invest in some training so you have a clue of what you're doing, or paper, toner. Just being ready to run a business takes a little bit of money. It doesn't even take thousands of dollars. There are so many businesses that need 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. I mean, I don't have an exact number, but this is very, very doable for, easily less than $1,000 if you played your cards correctly, to be able to go out and make a good amount of money. And so the more people think about it, it's never going to overcome that fear, but action will overcome it. And so that's just fantastic advice for people that are on the fence about getting started. I'm glad that I did it. I was young, and Oscar, I never did any general notary work. I jumped into loan signings. It's sort of like, it's a weird analogy. Like, you ever jump in a pool and you're like, well, is the water too cold? Like, there's people that'll dip their toes in the water. There's people that'll
Right.
walk around the pool 6 times. There's people that'll wait until other people are in the pool. How about just going and doing a cannonball and saying, you're going to live, okay? Just get in the pool. It doesn't matter the temperature, right? You're going to live. So taking the leap of faith or the jump or anything like that, I sort of relate to how people get in the pool, essentially. It's a little corny example, but I think it's really true. It's okay to just go into a cannonball, make a splash, make it with your future. And when I did that, I was young, man. I was like 21, 22. I felt like I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and here I am, almost 10,000 closings later. Um, all you have to do is take the first step. That's it. Everything else starts to
Right.
piece its way together. You don't need to know everything to get started. You just need to start, and you'll learn the pieces along the way. And so the people that let fear sort of overrun their life, those people are very real, and they call my office on a daily, weekly basis. It's okay to jump. You're talking about your future here, and it's one of my sort of indirect mentors, he's got on his computer, it says, what would I do if I could not fail? Does that change your mindset in any way if you knew you could not fail? And I think it does for people. I think they would maybe do things that sort of held them back a little bit. They were a little bit nervous about. They wouldn't have so much sort of reservation if they knew they couldn't fail. And so this is just paperwork, guys. It's not that scary. It doesn't bite you. Just
Right.
sort of learning the tricks of the trade a little bit. For paperwork's the easy part, but learning how to get business on the back end, that's more the creative part. So Oscar, I wanted to read you something and see if you recognize what this is. Okay.
Okay.
Um, this course definitely opened my eyes to a world I didn't even know existed. The potential to not only make a great living, but also to be free to do the things that you want in life. Thank you, John. My short-term goal is to make about $300 a day, which, doing the maths, about $78,000 a year. Do you remember what that was?
That was me. I did say that in the
Yep.
beginning.
So that was your review of our program, and we wanted to thank you for the kind words altogether with that. And so our program allowed you to sort of see what was out there that you didn't know existed. Can you maybe just touch base on that a little bit, from not so much when you got the aha moments? Obviously, it was through a program with the information, but can you just talk about that from like sort of the research and training that you did that led you to loan signings, and then what sort of opened up your world with loan signings? Was there any particular moment that sort of stuck out at all?
When actually I was looking at one of the videos that you were putting up, and you had mentioned that in one of them that in terms of income and stuff like that, um, that notarial income is tax exempt.
Not
And
subject to self-employment tax.
yeah, not subject to self-employment tax. So I looked at it, I was like, wow, that's awesome. Like, I didn't know that that was even possible. And just, just doing the whole loan closing thing. So I didn't know, or actually it didn't dawn on me that you need a notary, because when we went through our closing, for our house, that person was a loan signing agent, but it didn't click until you were explaining the process and things that were happening in a closing.
Right.
And I was like, wow, okay, so that's the person that just notarizes and that's it, and that's how much they get. And I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Didn't even
For
know.
the time versus the money, sure, it is. It really is
Time
amazing.
versus the money, right?
So
It's just something, yeah, it's
I was
amazing.
talking we're doing a bunch of these calls lately for the signing agent secrets kind of a portion that we have. But when I started, I was a loan officer. Oscar, these fees were on my loan paperwork, and my signing agent would come Ralston and come in and close loans all the time. And so um, it was staring right in front of me the whole time. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where it's like, man, I gotta figure this out. You know what I mean? Because it's staring right at me, hidden in plain sight is what I'm trying to say. So it didn't take me too long to figure it out, but that's awesome. And I want to touch base on something you said earlier about you can do anything with this business. And so I just want to mention that,
Correct.
you know, you can work with signing service companies, you can work for title companies, you can work with realtors, you can work with lenders, you can work with hard money lenders. You can exclusively work with attorneys, and there are other insurance companies you can work with, and there's a whole general notary side of things. We count 15 different loan signing business streams in our program. You could do anything you want to do in this business. If you want to target certain companies, you target them. Not many jobs allow you to customize and sort of cater to your own future in that way. And so when I read we always love reading our feedback. We read the good and bad feedback through our program, which is sort of required to put in there. But when you said that it definitely opened your eyes to a world you didn't know existed, I love being able to sort of pay it forward to people that it would take you several years to sort of learn the back end of this business, right? And so
Right.
uncovering that as an open book in our program to say, hey, here's what I've learned, here's how to do it, here's how to get from A to B faster, to make more money, to maximize your income on a daily basis. We're just proud to be able to share that with people to get the fast track they deserve, so that way no one needs to struggle. You don't need to wonder how to make this work in your schedule. You know how to make it work in your schedule. We even touched base on it a little bit on this call about targeting the 8 a.m. Signing orders, and then obviously the after hours orders as well. But we're just really glad that you found us, and look forward to working with you to helping you specifically reach your goals, not only on an income amount, but also on the full time. I mean, that's going to be a great moment for you when you say, you know what, today's the day that I know I feel comfortable enough to go full time as a signing agent. And I really look forward to the day that we can kind of share that moment together, because I want to get you there as quickly as you'll allow yourself to get there. You know what I mean? It could take a little
Right.
bit of time, or it just depends on how hard you work on a consistent daily basis is really going to determine how soon that you get there. And so we really look forward to that moment, because that'll allow you to reach that milestone. Will will your life be any different when you're full time, do you think? Can you maybe talk about that by chance at all?
In terms of
I mean,
schedule,
what
it
it'll allow you to do, or schedule, or anything really. I mean, it'll allow you more family time for sure, but
right, and that's huge for me because for my son and for my wife, I would definitely love more time in terms of spending more time with them, doing family events with them, things of that nature. So it would definitely open the door in terms of those opportunities. Yeah, in terms of setting up closings, in terms of what time of the day, if they're gonna be back to back closings in the morning or three or whatever, in the afternoon, I could set it up so that, like if I have to go somewhere, with my family in the afternoon, I could do stuff in the morning, get that done, and then do what I have to do in the afternoon. Things like that. Like I
yeah,
can definitely see like the opportunity for that.
that's awesome. And that's
So
gonna really fulfill the piece that you sort of don't have right now, and just a little bit of tips and guidance for not only you, Oscar, but anyone watching. As a signing agent, orders are, if you do the right things, or even the things that we ask you to do in our program, you're going to get a lot of orders sent to you. You're able to choose your daily schedule. And so what I mean by that is you don't necessarily need to take a 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Try to sneak in a 9 and a 10 in the morning, back to back, or a 4 and a 5 in the afternoon. You never want to do more than 3 back to back to back. So like a 4 or 5 and 6. You never take a 7, okay? Because there's always a little bit of a time snag. But if you can take a 9 and a 10, Oscar, well, that's better than a 9 and a 12. If you could take a 4 and a 5, that's better than a 9 and a 3. What that allows you to do is go drive to the client, drive to the other client, and come home. You have one loop essentially. You don't need to go to a client, come back home, right? Go back out, come back home again. You want to really try to double and triple them up if you can. And it's really just a phenomenal strategy to allow you to get several hours back in your day by doing literally the same number of closings. So anytime you can sort of double and triple it up, go for it. Just never do more than 3 back to back to back, because that's sort of when snags will happen. You'll start to show up late, and then that's not a good thing. And so one loop instead of 2 or 3 will make a tremendous difference in your schedule and give you that extra free time for whatever lights you up, which in your case is obviously being available for your son and your wife and your family. So again, I look forward to continuing to work with that. Obviously, Oscar's been through our program. Oscar, did we forget anything or leave anything out at all, or anything that you wanted to touch base on whatsoever?
Well, in terms of the program, it's pretty complete in the sense of it's a blueprint. Like it literally is a blueprint and a roadmap in terms of what needs to be covered, what are the steps, things that you need to consider that you wouldn't normally consider if you didn't have the program or weren't going through the program. And I think that's amazing, because without it, I would have never have known about this business, and B, even if I did, I wouldn't know where to start. And this program definitely shows you the way, step by step, what to do. And then once you're done, it's up to you to just take the leap, jump, figure it out as you go along, which is, what I'm doing now. Because again, I'm brand new to this. So I'm in the process. Well, I'm actually, I've been calling signing companies and things of that nature. So, it's just, now it's up to me to narrow down what's good for me in terms of the schedule and how I'm going to go about it, and then figure it out from there in terms of what's going to be beneficial for me in terms of time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the kind words. We always appreciate it, and we're really happy to pay forward and help you. And we really focus on pulling back the curtains on my entire business to make sure that people knew exactly sort of what they should be doing, not just to get set up wise, but also to have like a real successful strategy to reach out to companies. And there's a lot of people that I find, Oscar, go through programs that they're left with really big question marks at the end of actually what to do and where to go and who to talk to, and sort of piece it all together. And I'm very, very proud to say that no one's ever had that in our program, because we really went so far to just pull back every single curtain we have and leave it all out there. I mean, the blueprint, like you said, step by step, goes through not only getting started, but what to do on a daily and weekly basis is the last page. So you can model the activities of a successful signing agent to sort of fast track your career. So I'm glad that you found us, and we definitely appreciate the kind words. Guys, if you're watching right now, be sure to like and share this video with someone that's looking to either make more money or get a flexible career. And if you're looking to boost your confidence and income, we actually have a free 90-minute training right on our website, notarysigningagentblueprint.com. They'll tell you exactly how I get all my clients and how I got started without any time, money, or experience. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.